Story 1. Terrific. What's next? I got it from Norman Lear. He said, when amazing things happen, accept them and rejoice. Then after that time has faded. Ask, what's next? Kept him going. He said the same about bad things. Oh no, terrible. What's next? After a period of mourning or feeling bad, just say, what's next? And get going again. Story 2. I have two also, they are both Vine quotes. 1. I'm a bad bitch, you can't kill me. I love myself. Even though I look like a burnt chicken nugget, I still love myself. I repeat this to myself every day while facing the horrors. Story 3. If you don't like what you're doing, get out. I've done this throughout my career and have no regrets. There is no loyalty between employer and employee anymore. I'm retired now and have never regretted quitting a job. Life is too short to be doing something that makes you miserable. Story 4. You can always try again tomorrow. I am a preschool teacher, and I use it in the context of waking up on the wrong side of the bed. You know those days when everything just seems to go wrong? Kids have days like that too, and when they have had a less than good day, I always make sure to tell them that they can try again tomorrow. Story 5. Try not to become a man of success, but rather try to become a man of value, is an Einstein quote I read as a kid, and I guess, as a kid with limited education from a poor neighborhood, it spoke to me. I'm not very successful, but I can open my front door without keys, stabilize a gunshot victim, operate a ham radio, make animals into edible steaks, and I can work on my wife's car for her. My life is falling apart, but I've practiced putting things back together for a lifetime, so I'm feeling pretty confident about this mess. Story 6. Things I try to teach my kids. Life is too short and precious to be serious and always sorry. That's life. Stop worrying. And honestly, the serenity prayer. I know Reddit has a certain view of Christianity and all, but that is a great prayer. Story 7. For a while, it was quite literally, you only live once. I used to be very nervous, probably actually anxious, about just about anything and would always stick to activities or things I knew and never tried anything new. At some point, I realized I couldn't keep living like that and started branching out and taking leaps I wouldn't have. It's turned out all right. Story 8. One that I like is, you can only ever be who you are. This means that we can try to replicate other people or be like someone or something that we are not, but it will always come off as inauthentic because we can only ever truly be ourselves. We can try to fake it or finesse through life, but ultimately who we are is enough, and it helps to remember that we will never be perfect and our situations will never be ideal. We will only be who we are in the moment. Story 9. Ichigo Ichii is a Japanese idiom that means one time, one meeting, or once in a lifetime. It is a concept that encourages people to appreciate every moment because each experience is unique and will never happen again. Story 10. Live life to the beat of your own drum, and do not let anyone dictate the rhythm. It is not about doing things at your own pace, but more about doing things your own way. Do not let someone else tell you how to live your life. It is your life, and the only one who knows how to live it is you. I do not know, it is something that came to me out of nowhere when giving advice to a buddy, and I kind of liked it. Story 11. Do your best and forget the rest. I heard it from Tony Horton in AP90X video. A certain percentage of people hate blueberry pie. You can't please everyone. Story 12. Live with intention. Walk to the edge. Listen hard. Practice wellness. Play with abandon. Laugh. Choose with no regret. Appreciate your friends. Continue to learn. Do what you love. Live as if this is all there is. Mary and Radmacher. Story 13. Breathe deep. Seek peace from James Gurney's Dinotopia. In the book, it has a deeper meaning, but for me, it's just take a deep breath and be mindful. Story 14. I am here to do good, not be good. Do no harm, but take no nonsense. It's easier to ask forgiveness than it is to ask permission. Problem exists between keyboard and chair. My job is a combination of facilities maintenance, audio/visual systems, and computer networking, and I do that for 6 different buildings. This gives me a wide range of problems and skill levels with my end users, so every day is a new balance between my attention deficit disorder and my patients. Story 15. Do not ever, for any reason, do anything to anyone for any reason ever, no matter what, no matter where or who you are with or where you are going or where you have been ever, for any reason whatsoever. Story 16. The sun will set in the evening and rise in the morning. There's nothing you can do about it, just like sometimes there's nothing you can do about something. Time passes by and things change. Nothing stays forever, not even problems. Story 17. I never use the word done unless it comes with a period after it. Meaning, don't say that you are done, but then rattle off 2 or 3 other things that need to happen. I'm done. Story 18. The only way out is through. I couldn't even guess how many times I said this to myself during the process of watching my wife slowly being killed by cancer. She and chondrosarcoma came to a draw in 2015. Something I realized going through this, in the end, when things happen to you, big or small, and they will, from now until you die, no matter how secure your position is, how much money you have, or what position you achieve, there are only 2 potential outcomes. Either you live or you die. Either it is so big you bare your throat and give up, or you get up and keep walking. You have to decide whether what you are going through is big enough to kill you, and if the answer is no, then you have a life to live. Story 19. Every morning I think about Marcus Aurelius' passage about why we were put on earth. Or is this what I was created for? To huddle under the blankets and stay warm? So you were born to feel nice instead of doing things and experiencing them. Marcus Aurelius' Meditations. It gets me out of bed every morning for work and inspires me to go to the gym and lift. Life is hard. Choose your hard. I love it. Story 20. Do the thing. Try the food and drink. I have found so many things I never knew I liked. Try the experience. Do it once. If you do not enjoy it, that is fine. If you do, do it again, maybe not heroin though. Meet new people. They will enrich your life or teach you a lesson you needed to learn. Travel if you can, even if it is to a new local place. Take the scenic route. Sometimes we find surprises on the way. Use the good plates, cutlery, and glassware. That is what it is there for. Every chip, crack, and missing item has its own unique story in your life. Story 21. A lot of life lessons over time, but the one I find most useful is, again, keeps me determined and helps me realize I can actually do way more than I thought if I'm willing to keep throwing myself at it. Story 22. Some is better than none. I am not in charge of nuclear weapons, so this mostly relates to housework and errands. People know about financial debt, but chore and time debt are real too. This keeps life from getting overwhelming or to a point that feels unfixable. Story 23. I will face my anger. I will permit it to pass over me and through me. And when it has gone past, I will turn the inner eye to see its path. Where the anger has gone, there will be nothing. Only I will remain. Story 24. Mine are all work-related. Give me what I want and I'll go away. I was at the back of the truck. I couldn't possibly have witnessed what the employee did at the front, even though I'm probably on camera witnessing the act. Story 25. Better to have what you do not need than not have what you do need. Best answer if you are at work and wondering if you should make a copy. Another works if something is giving you trouble. When all else fails, shut that booger down and restart it. Story 26. Money can be a fine servant, but a dangerous master. Forced understanding will not last. It's only when they see the problem for themselves will true change be made. Got those gems from video games. Story 27. I have a few, but I got the words, "Keep on running," tattooed on my wrist, inspired by one of my favorite songs. Story 28. As far as is reasonably practicable, don't be a jerk. Unless a given situation requires being a jerk, then double-check that being a jerk is entirely warranted before doing it. Story 29. I was a platoon leader in the United States Army, and I really struggled with acting under pressure, which culminated in me making a serious mistake during a field exercise. We got back from the field, and my platoon sergeant closed the door to our office and told me, "Sir, nothing matters." End of discussion. He opened the door, and we went on with business as usual. Everything suddenly made sense. It changed my entire perspective on the Army and on life in general. Story 30. I have several. I will always maintain my logical, rational mind that I have when I'm emotionally sober, even when I'm not emotionally sober, no matter the environment or situation I happen to find myself in. Standards are a reference that is supposed to guide us when we aren't sure about what to do next. Standards create a baseline that makes the ideas we come up with no longer arbitrary. Regret generates the desire required for change. I am kind and reasonable with others when I'm kind and reasonable with myself. I get out of life that which I put into life. Story 31. Handle it with doggy style. If you can't eat it or have sex with it, urinate on it and bury it. Relationships are like farts. If you have to force it, there's probably a piece of feces involved. Story 32. In this moment, everything is okay. Right now, this moment, not 5 minutes ago or 5 minutes from now, but right now, everything is okay. And right now is where we live and all we actually have. Right now. Story 33. It will all work out in the end. I think I've been saying this to myself since elementary school. No matter how doomed a situation may seem in the moment, I know it will eventually be all right. Story 34. Asioilla on tapana järjestyä. It's my native language, Finnish, and it roughly translates to, things tend to sort out. I've realized over time that too much stressing about everything only hurts yourself. And if you panic and rush into everything, it tends to make things only worse. So take a breather, take a step back, and let things play out. And usually, things do tend to work out in the end. At least they have in my life. Story 35. You cannot change people and their behaviors. One can barely change themselves. It's so unreal to expect others to change based on our dissatisfactions. Rather, set boundaries, whether healthy or unhealthy. That's the way to deal with toxicity. Story 36. Memento mori. It reminds me that nothing lasts forever. Not the bad times, nor the good ones. But as long as I am alive, I get the chance to feel, to live, to laugh, be kind, be empathetic, be an ally, a friend, a lover. I can live my life and try to do the best for me and the world. Story 37. I have two. The first is from a motivational speaker we once had at a company event and helps me deal with the fact that my wife had an affair, got pregnant, and walked out on me some years ago. The past is for reference, not residence. The second is part of a quote from a Terry Pratchett book, Nation, and is a reminder to accept that some things just can't be changed. From Nation by Terry Pratchett, in answer to the question, would you go back, if you could, to a time before the tsunami struck and killed everyone else on your island? How can I answer you? There is no language. There was a boy called Mao. I see him in my memory, so proud of himself because he was going to be a man. He cried for his family and turned the tears into rage. And if he could, he would say, did not happen, and the wave would roll backward and never have been. But there is another boy, and he is called Mao too, and his head is on fire with new things. What does he say? He was born in the wave, and he knows that the world is round, and he met a ghost girl who was sorry she shot at him. He called himself the little blue hermit crab, scuttling across the sand in search of a new shell. But now he looks at the sky and knows that no shell will ever be big enough. Ever. Will you ask him not to be? Any answer will be the wrong one. All I can be is who I am. But sometimes I hear the boy inside crying for his family. Story 38. Failing to prepare is preparing to fail. Hope for the best, plan for the worst. With every day that passes, I find it even more important to be prepared for things to go wrong. Good times only last so long. Don't get caught off guard when the music stops. Story 39. I'm fond of the family motto from Meet the Robinsons. Keep moving forward. Practically, though, in my experience, everything that has ever happened to me has worked out for the best in the end. Every setback, every failed relationship, every loss. In the end, it's part of the story that led me to the good things in my life. I try to remember that when things are tough. Story 40. Self-improvement. Perfection is impossible, but self-improvement can make you able to do more. Also, your weaknesses can be used as strengths too. That helps me with making extra money sometimes. Story 41. I did have a mental breakdown in my early 20s where the whole world felt like it came crashing down on me. I started crying uncontrollably and was unable to get out of my bed or apartment. I was totally incapacitated by my mind, and a family member had to rush me to a psychiatric ward. I wasn't committed, but they gave me some anti-anxiety medicine which helped for a few weeks to stabilize my breakdown. I do suffer this kind of breakdown every so often, but I have developed sort of a mantra where I try to rationalize with myself that it isn't that bad. Like saying, calm yourself, nothing bad is happening. Go for a walk. You're alive and life is beautiful. Things like that help me manage the absolute worst of it, and I won't sink too deep. It lets me function, but I do get some kind of brain fog, confusion, or whatever you could describe it as. I don't know exactly what happens, but the brain sort of goes into survival mode, and everything just fades. Story 42. I did the best that I could while I was stuck in this place. Had the most fun I could while I was stuck in this place. It's a line from Dazed and Confused about them hating high school. I have applied it to situations in life when things just suck. Make the best out of a bad situation, always do your best, and always try to have fun no matter where you are. And that ties directly into this great quote by Ernest Hemingway. When you stop doing things for fun, you might as well be dead. Story 43. Being is purpose, and purpose is being. In any singular moment, your perspective and situation are unique to the universe. By simply existing, you provide an interpretation and a conduit from all history to the now. This has value. Without you, this view into the universe would be lost, and that corner of the universe becomes a simple machine of entropy and void of any feeling. You don't need to become an astronaut or live up to your parents' expectations to provide value. You just need to be.